Did the stream just cut out momentarily for anyone? Because I've just got a notification that said that my stream is now offline.
Could have redeemed 2 Morty licks.
You could have. You could have. Well, I can't wait to see what that does to my stats, because that's going to be fun and interesting.
Yes, offline.
How long for? Like a second?
Like 2 or 3 mins.
Okay, so did you guys see me commit? Or no? When did we end?
No clue, bro. I didn't pay attention.
Okay. Oh, we lost a lot of viewers there. Crap. That's not good. Oh well. We'll keep working. Alright then. So, spawn held items.
Skill issue.
Do you know what that is? I have automations, and the automations screwed me. Right, so we're going to say I actually don't. Actually, I think I do need this. Okay, so how do we do this? We're going to say spawn. So we've got the commands, the UI assets, the held item. I'm going to say, the cursor as well. So let's get the context menu here. Ah, nice. I'm glad that worked. Hi, Matt. How are you doing? Right, so how are we doing this? So we need to get the click on. So that handles the clicks, but we want the UI. So we're going to say if held sprite is going to be query, visibility, no, query and mut visibility and mut sprite with held sprite, like that. And it's complaining because this isn't a component. So let's add derive component to that. Don't need that semicolon. Okay. So then what we're going to say is if held sprite I think we can do single actually. Okay. If held sprite, and that's single. Can I do single? Oh wait, single option. Okay. So we say this, and we say if held sprite dot is none, then we need to spawn it. So we're going to spawn, change this to update like this. And then this becomes commands.spawn. And we'll return here. This then becomes our various bits and pieces. So we're going to have a node with the same values as this, like so. Now it's going to complain about some of these, I think. Image is this. I think that's also fine. Okay. And held item dot item is not is some, like that. Okay. Then we're going to say if held sprite is, actually we're going to need entity here as well. So is some, not what I wanted. We can actually make this slightly better. We can say if let some held sprite, where is it? It's entity, visibility, sprite equals held sprite. Then do this. Else we're going to do that. Put that there. Get rid of all of this. Save that. I'm going to return in here. It doesn't like this. Found tuple. So, okay. Some single. Does that let me do it? Held. We'll just call it sprite like that. Okay. So then we can do held sprites. Dot into inner. And we can do like that. And we just set these as mutable so that we can access them. Fine, perfect. Don't care anymore. Right, so then we can do, well, I don't really care about sprites so much as I care about, actually I think it is in there. So we can say if held sprite dot dot 0, no, it's not that one, it's held item dot is some, then sprite dot and I think it's atlas, texture atlas dot index. it's an optional texture atlas, okay. Mut atlas. Is that, I think? As mut. Dot unwrap. Because we know it's going to be there. And then we can atlas.index equals held item dot item dot unwrap dot 0. Oh wait, no, we can't do that because we need to get the item data. Okay, so we need this value in here to get the item data. So then the item data dot get, and we pass in not get item data dot items dot get. Can I call get item on this? I didn't. Okay. Okay. So then we do held item dot unwrap dot 0. Okay. Data is this. Dot expect missing item, like that. Perfect. And then what are we doing down here where we actually set the sprite? Item data is equipable, not what I want. Where are we setting the sprite? Spawn inventory, UI data. Right, this here. Right, get icon dot stack 1. Cool. So then we do data dot get icon, and we do right. Let's change this slightly. Let sum held stack is equal to this. Then we can do that. Don't need the unwrap there anymore. Great. And then we can do held stack dot 1. Right. And that's now allowing us to do that. Next bit. Now that we're setting the index, we need to change the visibility. So what we can do right here is we can say visibility star visibility equals match held item dot item, and this is sum. This becomes visibility dot inherited, and in the case that it's none, then it's visibility hidden. Right, so that changes the visibility of it as well. The next thing that we need to do is we need to position the held sprite to wherever the cursor is. So that becomes slightly more complicated. But we have similar stuff over here. The only difference is that this is just going to do it constantly. Okay. style.right. Top. I think that should be... I think we should just be able to copy this bit verbatim. But I think we're going to need to do this elsewhere. So at some point I might need to replicate this. Right, so let's quickly go back to our inventory code here. And we're going to go to this function that we just added. And we're going to create a new function here. Called get held item pos. And this becomes this here. And then we return some style. And then none here. I'm going to pass in well, this is going to return an option node. And it's going to take in window, which is going to be context menu, WinQ. So query window. Right, so we're going to grab this, but we're going to turn it into a single. Which we should probably do over there as well. Okay. And style, where's style coming from? Well, style's coming from there. Right, so this is our style. Perfect. And what's nice about this is that we can copy these bits over. Like that. So these go in here. We don't need that. We don't need that. We've got a width and height. So that becomes so. And then what we do is we do commands dot entity dot insert this. And we pass in our window, allowing us to just use this directly. And we're going to say if some node equals this, then we'll do that node. We're missing let. Okay, so that now handles a lot of our cursor positioning. So let's take this and add it to our mod. Okay, so this becomes inventory, update held item. And we need to insert the resource. And this becomes inventory. Have I made this public? I don't know. I have. Okay, so we can make this held item. We can actually improve both of this because we just change it from insert resource to init resource. Then we can do that in there. Change this to init resource on whatever it was. It was UI Windows. Yep. UI Windows like that. Inventory held item. Inventory held item like that. Okay. Right. So that takes care of a lot of our stuff. We will use original slot in a bit. The next thing we need to do is do an on cursor down event on our UI items. How to do this? Because I think there's a way to check if we're dragging an item, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay. A lot of the code that we're going to be using is going to be in here. So there's context menu, click. This is context menu. This does a lot of the stuff that we need. So we grab the position. We spawn the whole thing. And this is just done on cursor click, so that's not really what we want. Has context menu visible, handle clicks. Handle UI clicks, here we go. So this is the function we want to copy for now. There's definitely some stuff that we want to modify about this. Now, click, pointer. Okay, this is actually good because if you look here, there's this duration. So we actually want mouse. There's got to be a mouse down event. So if we go to the pointer, debug, documentation for pointer events, pointer input. No. Pointer events, pointer events, pointer events. Bevy pointer events. Drag enter, drag start. Drag over. Drag start. Okay, we've got a drag start event. Perfect. So we've got this drag start. We don't need the connection yet. And then we're going to say held item is this. And we're going to say hovered slot becomes uth2. Like that. Okay, we're going to get somewhere here. I don't care about secondary buttons either. So we're going to change this to does not equal pointer button primary. It's the only one we care about. Fine. Now, specifically, we care about this being, where is it? Spawn inventory, inv slot item, an inv slot. And inv slot, and inv slot item. Okay. So then we're going to go through this. So it's interaction slot item. Perfect. Don't care about this bit. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do commands dot insert resource, insert resource, and we're just going to insert a new one because there's no need to do it any other way. So we'll do a held item like that, and then the original slot is going to be slot dot 0. The item is going to be the item dot 0, which is an option. The hovered slot is going to be none at this point. Oh, this should be some, like that. Because we might want to update this in another location. Okay, and that's a slot as U32. Okay. Perfect. So, item pickup. Then we're going to do another one, call this item drop. No, item hover. And this is just going to be held item. Res mut held item, like this. Okay, so that's our current held item. This is going to be okay. And this becomes drag entry. Oh, crap. Okay, so we don't actually need this. Oh, no, we don't need the clicks on this one. So we're going to change this from imp's item slot here to item hover. And we're going to do held dot hovered slot equals slot, like that. Don't care about any of that. What's wrong with this? Oh, we're still grabbing the item. And this becomes sum. Found reference in slot, like that, as U32. Okay, so that's our hover, but that's still going to cause some problems because that means that if you release it anywhere else than the last one you hovered, So we're just going to change that to this. I'm going to do this as if interaction equals and interaction none. Wait, what? Does this not have changed interaction? Oh. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So we just get this and we do changed interaction. Like that. None. Then held. Actually, we can actually do this one better. We can do held into hovered slot equals match interaction. And then we can say interaction hovered. We're going to return that. Otherwise, we're going to return none. There we go. Always good to simplify our code where we can. Okay, and then finally, when this is a drop, so then we do clicks, pointer drag start, whatever. We're going to change this to drag drop. Drops the dropped entity on. Interesting. We might be re-implementing some of this accidentally, but that's fine. We'll sort this out. Okay, so then we're going to change this to drag. So we've got drag end. Because we've got this drag start. Fires when the target entity receives a pointer pressed event followed by a pointer move event. Fires, okay, that's fine. Okay, so then this becomes print line dropped. And then we're going to do, we want the held item rather than the commands. And we say held dot hovered slot equals 0, held dot, oh actually, item equals none. This also wants to become none. And held dot original slot equals none. Okay. Let's add these. Add systems. Update. And this becomes inventory. Yeah. What are they called? Item pickup, item hover, and item drop. So item pickup, inventory, item hover, inventory, item drop. Okay. So that's like that. And we want to chain those because we want them to run in a certain order. And we want to run if networking is connected. Get rid of that connection. Save that. And let's quickly see if that works. Okay. And then we're going to... Let's quickly change our code so that we log out what we want to say. Because right now this isn't necessarily doing much of anything. So print line picked up. Oh, actually, I know why. So we have our other function, because these are all that, but we don't have our update held item, right? Oh, no, we do. Okay. So let's just log that out, see whether that works. Put that on the right screen. Log in. Right, that's not showing as draggable. Do we need to add an additional thing to say that it's draggable? We might do, you know. So this is the drag file, drag and drop, no. Where is this going wrong? Possibly. Item pickup. So we've got these clicks. So we're going to change this to drags. So that becomes this. So the drag... Well, we kind of don't need to do that a second time because we already know that. Actually, we need to change this slightly. Because this becomes held item. And then we need the inventory data. Inventory data. Which is the only one we actually have access to. So we change this. We change this. And then we say so we do let slot equals
I fucking
held.
hate JavaScript. I can't figure out how to make something work.
Why is that? Okay, so we're going to do held.hovered slot. Oh.
That worked before, but I just moved it to a different location. And it won't fucking work.
I'm sorry, dude. Okay, so this becomes .get.
The HTML
held.
was moved to a different location. Been stuck on this for 2 weeks now. It can't be that fucking hard.
What do you mean? hovered slot.
To fix.
What have I done wrong here? Quick fix.
I got the old working code, but it literally has nothing that helps me in this situation.
Yeah, but what are you trying to do? Because you know, like, writing JavaScript stuff is my, like, day job, right?
Keep a menu open while I'm clicking in it.
That's to do with hierarchy. Because if you click... So that's nothing to do with JS, that's to do with...
It currently closes on every click.
Yeah, so it's to do with bubbling. So you need to say... So the HTML needs to have the div inside of another div. Like, so you have your menu, and then you have the div below it. And so when you click on the wider one, you have it bubble up. Sorry, I might not be explaining this particularly great. My brain is in Rust mode.
I'm kind of lost here since this is my friend's code and he used ChatGPT to generate it, so I'm fucking lost.
Well, then
It's okay.
Then it's fine, because it's probably absolutely worthless. Okay. And then... What is this? Not what I wanted. Okay, so this is going to be an option, this. If I do that, is that okay? Perfect. And we don't even... No, that probably should be mutable. This then goes here. And then we change this to be held.item equals that. And we say held.hovered slot. And then we just do if held.hovered slot.isSum. Then we can do this bit. And we change this to this. Perfect. Right, let's rerun that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's recognizing that we've picked up the item. Okay, that's good. So then we just need to make sure that it actually shows what the item is. So picked up item, that, and we'll just do held dot item dot unwrap dot 0 and see how that looks. Picked up item 302, picked item 201. Okay, cool. So what's wrong with update held items? So we've got Oh, this doesn't have a held sprite. There we go. Okay, let's try this now. Okay, so this isn't updating, but it should be. So what's going wrong? So we've got this, we've got the visibility inherited. We've got node. Like that. Okay. So this becomes entity visibility mut sprite with held sprite. That's because this isn't sprite, this is UI node. Image node? Image node. Like that. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Okay, so we've now got the item in our inventory. All right. So that's almost right. So then we need to do on item hot, item drop. Okay, so this is mouse. No. Up. Release. Released. Okay. So if the pointer is released, is fine. And then we don't need this. We just say, oh, like that. Becomes very easy because we've already got that data. Okay, and so we drag this around and we release it. Perfect. Now we need to add a z index to our position. So we do z. Do we do it like that, or do we do it as z index and just do 1,000? Because this is one of those things that needs to be on top of everything. Okay. Okay, and we've got a click and drag system. Perfect. This is getting somewhere. Now the question is whether or not. Oh, this is annoying. Because this is going to take into account transparency, isn't it? Um, let's now go to here and let's print dropped on held dot hovered slot like that. Because if this is none, we're fucked. If this is anything else, we're okay. Change this to that. Cool. Okay. Drag off. Dropped on none. How do we do this? We can change this by getting rid of the visibility hidden on the update inventory UI. So what do we do? So you set the stack data. And we set this. So here is where we're setting the visibility to hidden. Oh, God. How do we do this? Because we kind of don't want to do this. Open file. And we go to item icons. We almost need an empty item icon. This is so frustrating. No, we can do this. We can do this. It's not too bad. We just have to do something slightly iffy. We do image dot color equals color transparent. Yeah, color. HLSA. Actually, HSLA. Hue. Zero, zero. No, I think this starts at 1. I think. Which means if we start this at 1 for all of them, then we can do this like that. And then we just need to do 0 over here. Like that. And I think that will handle it. I think. Okay. Give it a go. That's not what we want. Okay. But that does drop on some, which is good. So what's wrong with text visibility here? Interesting. Right, I'm going to take a quick break while I run the bathroom, that sort of thing. I recommend you guys get yourself a glass of water, that sort of thing. And I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, and we're back. Hope you're all doing okay. So, it seems like this here isn't working. So, match stack 1. So where is stack coming from here? Ah, I see. No, it is working just fine. It's just that we need to do something about this. So we're going to go through here, do that, and we're going to do star text visibility equals hidden. And then we add another one of those? No? There we go. Like that. And we just do for child and children, like so. We don't care about the text. That's fine. And actually, we kind of do. So we can set text.0 equals that. .toString. There you go. Let's run that. Hey, mate. Right. And now we can drag this, drag it there, drag it there. Cool. So that now works. And we can do connection. Oh. Okay. And con equals res connection like this. Right. And then what we're going to say is con. I'm going to say if held dot original slot dot is sum. I'm going to do con dot q message, I think it is. Con. Is it not con? Log in. Read message. Logged in. Has connection. Send message. So we can just do con dot send message. And we can do client op data. We can have a look at what our client op data options are. It's going to complain because that's the wrong type of L. And then we've got invaction. And we're going to add swap two slots. I'm going to do swap U32, U32, like that. Client op data, invaction, swap, and this is held dot original slots dot unwrap and held dot hovered slot dot unwrap and held dot hovered slot dot is sum, like so. And then we need to make this mutable like this. Perfect. Okay, so we're adding inventory management slowly but surely. Okay. And then we can take this and we just need to add a handler over in our server code. Because if we go to our inventory, Is it our inventory? It's player inv interactions here. And we need to add a new swap. Slot A, slot B. We can do inv dot swap. Is it inv dot swap? I think we do have it in here. So if we go to the inventory, mut inventory, and we've got this function down here that we're not currently using called move stack. Two slot, change slots. Old value is this. The two slot is the new slot. Yeah, okay, so we call it moved stack for some reason instead of swap stack. So we just need to find this, and we do inv dot that slot A, slot B, and we just do start dot as usize star dot as usize. We just do that. Perfect. And then we just restart them both, the server and the client. And we've almost got full, better user interaction. Come on. Oh, gone to the wrong window. Log in. Okay, so if we now drag this to that slot, dropped on none. Is this still none? Dropped on what? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Dropped on none. Interesting. Is that on all of them? It is. So you go back to this. Slot on. Okay. We do hell.original slot as the first one. Okay. So what is the difference between how our context menu works for handling those clicks versus what we do over the other side? Right, so if we go to the oh, I know. So what we're doing here is we're saying we move this to this, move this to this, right? Actually. And then we get rid of the changed. We just loop through them all. Actually, we do only care about the change, because what we do is we do that. We just do, we can change this slightly. We just do if interaction equals interaction hovered, then we're going to do this. And then we're going to go return. I think we just do star interaction here. Okay. And if we get to the end of it, then we say held.hovered slot equals none. That's all we do. Much better. Yeah. Hi. Okay, so we're going to log in. I'm going to drag this to there. Dropped an item on 16. That still feels wrong. Dropped slot none on some 38. Interesting. Drop slot none on some 36. Okay. Item pickup then. We've done something wrong here. Hi. Oh. Original slot. There you go. Okay, there we go. Not what we wanted. We wanted the client. Okay. Okay, so then we can drag this, drop it here, and see how we can now drag things around. And that means that we can reorganize our inventory. And it's still all server authoritative, so that's good. But that means that we can organize our inventory however we want. So if I want my food at the top and then these items here, I can pick up the bread. Put that there. If I put that there and put this one on top, then they swap. So now we have actual inventory management, which is a really big improvement over what we had. Now the next check is when we log out, does it stay in the same location? And it does. So that's a really big improvement over what we had. So we're going to quickly grab a GIF of this working. Like this. So we're going to record a GIF. I'm going to take this and put it there. Like that. I'm going to swap these two. I'm going to save that. Now the thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that tooltips don't show up if they're empty. And we'll do that while that GIF is loading out. So then the next thing that we want to do is over in context menu. Now I think we actually do a thing in here where we say if the text is not empty. And there's our GIF. So we'll quickly jump over to Discord and we'll jump over to Game Dev. Right, just going to do that. Not what I wanted to do. And I can always save that out later. Now, it's the context menu. What do we do? So we handle UI clicks. And I think we have a thing that says, yeah, current context menu, options.clone. We don't seem to actually. So perhaps our issue is if we say if options dot. Wait, that's not context menu, that's tooltips. So the question is, where the hell are tooltips? Is it in inventory? Tooltip. Component tooltip. Okay. Handle tooltips. Okay. Tooltip is none. Well, where does this come from? Oh god, this is a horrendous function. If tooltip is none, or tooltip dot let's change this. We can change this from is none to is none or. We'll change this to tooltip. And we'll say tooltip dot body text is empty and tooltip dot title is empty. Like that. And that way we can just say, if both of those are empty, then don't show them. So let's then just change these two to both be empty like that. And then, what's the problem down here? Oh, we don't need that. Wait, what's wrong here? As ref? Oh. Because this was is none before. And that was fine. So why does it get moved? As, oh, what if we do tooltip as ref? And that's now fine. Okay, fine. Just little things we need to do. Right, now let's go over to the inventory, and there is a thing in here where we're setting the default tooltip. So let's get rid of this. Where has this gone? And change this to default. I don't know whether this color is the default. What is it? It is the default. So we can fully just go tooltip default. Like that. And that's perfect. And then we should go over to, so this is update UI data, and we say tooltip is this, body text is that, rarity is that. Okay. Some, none. Okay. Let's change the tooltip still. we're going to say non tooltip.title equals dot into tooltip.body text equals that dot into. Think like that and like that. Quick fix of this. And that should allow us now to... Okay, so now we don't get that horrible default tooltip issue that we had before. But we can still drag our inventory items around. Perfect. Let's do this as a new feature. What did I change about that? I don't know. Kind of don't want to. Fine, we'll save all of these. We'll do this as feature, inventory, and we'll say add inventory dragging. Perfect, and we'll push that up. That's inventory management in. You have no idea how long that's been annoying me for. Okay. Should we generate a new build? What's the current? So let's jump over to GitHub. Yep, this one, please. Pull requests. Add damage animations in training dummy. Add inventory dragging. Add liquid chicken item. Fix previously spawned actors not being compatible. Fixed small act bugs as well as missing documentation. Fixed HP bar scaling. Yep, so that's... Let's squash and merge this. And then that does mean that there's going to be a little bit of time between creating that build and it creating, but that will now deploy. Okay, so I don't know how long we've been streaming for, so it's currently that. So we've been streaming for about 3 hours, and this week, well, today has been a little bit of a shorter one, but I think we've got some good progress done there. I don't know who's currently online. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm gonna leave that there. Very small stream, got something done. We're not going to go for too long, and we're just going to raid out. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you.